Hello and welcome to Success Redefined. So, thank you everybody for being here. And I'm not even going to hesitate. We're going to jump right into the material. I want to make this as informative and as life-changing as possible. So, Success Redefined. What does that mean? And where did that title come from? So previously, when I would think of success, it immediately brought me to education level, degrees, certifications, job title. Immediately, there were certain pieces of information that would validate success. And over time, I started to realize in my own life and with people around me that we have the job title, we have the certifications and another certification, and we have, the little recognition things that gives us validation from the outside world, but empty inside. So is that really success? So that's when I started to dive deeper into what does success really mean? And for each and every one of you, that is something different. So what makes you feel good on the inside may not be what makes me happy on the inside. So your definition of success is probably, at least maybe, very different from mine. So what's important to you is very different from what's important to the next person. So this journey to figuring out what success really means starts with awareness of where you are now and what's working and what isn't working, and being aware of what lights you up and what drains you. So that's the very first step. Stepping back for a moment and truly recognizing what lights you up and what drains you. And then adjusting your behavior accordingly. And the interesting thing is that we often don't realize that we have a choice. We have a choice in what we're doing and what we're choosing to pursue, and what we say yes to and what we say no to. Are there certain things in life that we have to do? Absolutely. But oftentimes we fall into this should world. I should do this. I should do that. And it's that people-pleasing behavior that really starts to drain people over time. So that's the first thing, is to just develop an awareness of where you are and what are you doing that lights you up and what is draining you. And for some, that step right there alone can be eye-opening, because we often don't even take the time to be aware of what we're doing. We're just doing. We step onto the hamster wheel and we just go tick, 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 every day without even noticing. So that's step one. Step two, when you start to realize what's working and not working, or what's benefiting you or filling you up versus draining you, adjusting the behavior accordingly. Now, once you start to actually realize some of the things that you're doing, you'll actually start to question, why do I do that? And why have I always done that? And usually it's from a belief system. It's a set of beliefs that we have developed within us over the course of a lifetime. And so many factors play into this. Our cultural beliefs, friends, family, job, all of these things play into our belief system and why we do the things we do, or why we think we should do the things we're doing. So I ask you to start questioning, why do I do some of the things that I do, even though I don't want to? So practice paying attention to what you're saying yes to that maybe doesn't really serve you. And then practice saying no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. So we often feel this obligation to say yes to everything, even when we're putting ourselves out. So it's a fine dance between doing for others versus doing things we don't want to do. So there has to be a recognition. And when we do for others, when we don't really want to, it doesn't feel good. And that not feeling good is felt by the other person too. And then it leads to resentment on your end because you're doing something that you didn't want to be doing. And then they feel it. So it's a lose-lose. So really pay attention to what the intention is behind what you're doing. And it's really interesting because all too often we don't even realize it because we're just doing. So that's the next thing. And then from there, start to notice or allow yourself to start dreaming. Start thinking about what would really light you up, or what would you like to be doing with your life. And it starts to lead you to things like your purpose or your passions and your meaning for life. People start to say, well, why am I even here? Like, what is my purpose? And most of the time, people don't know. And what happens sometimes is you get these subtle whispers and you get these little inklings that maybe I'm meant for more than what I'm doing right now. Maybe I have a greater purpose. And if you're getting those little whispers that maybe you have a greater purpose, you do. You do have a greater purpose. So when you start to listen to that inner voice, that's where the magic starts to happen. So when you hear the voice and you start to think, maybe I'm meant for more, listen to the voice. But then pay attention to the doubt that creeps in and don't listen to it. Recognize it, but you will experience those limiting beliefs that will creep in. The limiting beliefs that say, who am I to do that? Who am I to do something amazing? Or, nah, I don't have a purpose. I just go to work. I just do X, Y, and Z. Well, you have a purpose. And oftentimes it's those limiting beliefs, those periods in our life that we once felt small, or the mistakes that we remind ourselves of, all these little things that make us feel like we're not worthy of doing something amazing. It's actually those periods in our life that were preparing you to do the very thing that you're feeling like you can't do. Let me elaborate on that. So you are most qualified to help the person that you used to be. So when you start to think of purpose, what's my purpose? Why am I even here? I encourage you to visit some of the more challenging times in your life, some of the darker times, some of the times you felt small, some of the times that you made what you felt like was a mistake. Those times in your life were preparing you for greatness. Those times in your life were preparing you to be the light for somebody else. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you're hearing the message in that, because the message is that there is a message from the mess. There's a message from your mess. And I would never have thought that for myself Because when I was going through the most challenging time in my life, when I felt small, things felt dark, I was not showing up as a powerful version of myself in any way, shape, or form. I would never have imagined that I'd be here now trying to share that message with other people, other women, because those dark times were meant to grow you. You don't grow when things are easy. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when you get through a challenge. You grow when you face your fears. You grow when you take uncomfortable steps. So you grow when things are challenging. You don't grow in your comfort zone. It feels safe there, but you're not growing. Your comfort zone feels safe and comfortable, but it's not a place where you will grow. It's not the place that you will create change. So your comfort zone is not the place where you are going to find your purpose. It's not the place where you're going to change lives. It's not the place where you are going to do things differently. So what that suggests to me is consider listening to that inner voice and taking the first steps toward something new. Because I promise you this, when you listen to your inner voice, that is your intuition, that's your divine guidance, that is your higher power, whatever that is to you, God, creator, source, universe. That inner voice is meant for you, and it's giving you the next steps. When you listen, that's where amazing things happen. And you don't need to know all the steps. The how things are going to change is none of your business. You just need to have faith in the process, trust the process, and the process will be delivered to you. So when you get those little intuitive nudges and you take action on them, you will be delivered the next steps. The messages, the people, the experiences will be delivered to you in perfect timing. That is really, for me, that feels really good because you don't need to know every step. You don't need to know how you're going to get to that big goal. You don't need all the steps. You just need the very next step, and it needs to be an actionable step, and take that action. And when you do, the next step will be laid out for you. So my purpose for even talking about all of this today is to let you know that change is possible. You are limitless. And we have placed self-imposed boundaries on what we're capable of, self-imposed boundaries on what we can do in this world. And those boundaries that are self-imposed can be removed by you. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes accountability for where you are now, and it takes commitment. And it's a commitment to yourself that you're going to be more, and that you're going to show up for yourself, and that you're going to show up for yourself in integrity, and that you're going to make a decision today that something's going to change. And only you know what that is, and only you know what success means to you. So give that some thought. Success redefined. What does that mean to you? It's a really powerful question. So I urge you to think about that and take the next steps.